8 Ways How Weakness Can Ruin Your Life. Stoicism Introduction. In the modern world, weakness often manifests as emotional instability, physical lethargy, and an inability to control our desires. We may attribute our weaknesses to external factors, but according to Stoicism, the root cause lies within ourselves. The Stoics believe that weakness stems from failing to exercise control over our minds, emotions, and actions. In this video, we'll explore how weakness can sabotage your life and how adopting Stoic principles can help you overcome it. Let's dive into 8 ways weakness can ruin your life, and how Stoicism offers practical wisdom to combat these pitfalls. 1. Weakness leads to unnecessary suffering. One of the first ways weakness manifests in life is through unnecessary suffering. When we allow ourselves to be swayed by external circumstances, whether it's the actions of others or situations beyond our control, we create unnecessary emotional turmoil. Stoics like Epictetus taught that while we cannot control the events around us, we have complete control over how we react to them. The Stoic practice of recognizing what is within our control and what is not can reduce this suffering dramatically. Weakness arises when we focus on things we can't control and become emotionally invested in them. By accepting things as they are without unnecessary resistance, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil that keeps us stuck too. Weakness creates dependency on others. Dependency is another form of weakness that can hold us back in life. We fail to build our internal strength mentally, emotionally, and even physically. We begin to rely on others for validation, happiness, and even decision-making. According to Stoicism, true happiness comes from within. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that he was capable of finding peace within his own mind, regardless of the people around him or the situations he faced. Dependency weakens your ability to act independently. By relying on others for approval or to solve your problems, you forfeit control over your life. A Stoic approach encourages self-sufficiency, teaching you to trust your inner strength and use external events only as opportunities to practice virtue. 3. Weakness enables procrastination, and inaction. Procrastination is a subtle form of weakness. It stems from an inability to focus, prioritize, and execute. The Stoics recognize that life is short and every moment counts. To waste time was to waste life itself. Seneca, a Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about the importance of time and how those who squander it are weak in spirit. The key to overcoming procrastination is cultivating a sense of urgency without panic. The Stoics taught us to break large tasks into smaller, manageable ones, making it easier to take immediate action. Strength is not just about physical endurance, but mental discipline and consistency in pursuing what truly matters. 4. Weakness leads to a lack of self-control. The core of Stoicism lies self-control, the ability to govern our desires, emotions, and actions. Weakness often manifests as a lack of self-discipline, where we give in to impulses and emotions, abandoning our long-term goals. Whether it's overindulging in food, neglecting physical health, or getting swept away by fleeting desires, a lack of self-control prevents us from living virtuously. The Stoics emphasized that self-control is a virtue that requires constant practice. By controlling our impulses and aligning our actions with reason and virtue, we gain strength and build resilience. In moments of temptation or difficulty, the Stoic would remind themselves, "I am not my desires, I am my actions." 5. Weakness increases anxiety and stress. In today's world, anxiety and stress are often linked to the fear of the unknown and our perceived inability to handle what life throws at us. Weakness in this context means an inability to confront these challenges with calmness and clarity. Instead of accepting what comes with equanimity, we let anxiety take root. The Stoics, however, believe that anxiety arises from our attachment to outcomes and our fear of failure. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and reactions, we reduce anxiety. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that we have no power over the events in life, but we have complete control over how we respond. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can eliminate unnecessary stress and cultivate inner peace. Remember, it's not the events themselves that cause anxiety, but our thoughts about them. 6. Weakness causes victim mentality. A consequence of weakness is the victim mentality, the belief that life is happening to you. You have no control over your circumstances. This mindset prevents you from taking responsibility for your actions and limits your ability to grow. According to Stoicism, we are responsible for how we react to the world around us. It is not the world that defines us, it's how we choose to define ourselves in the face of challenges. By recognizing that we can always choose our response, we empower ourselves to break free from the chains of victimhood. The Stoic approach shifts the focus from blame to personal growth, teaching us to view each challenge as an opportunity for learning. 7. Weakness hinders personal growth. Another way weakness ruins our lives is by stunting our personal development. A weak mind is one that resists change, shies away from challenges, and refuses to face uncomfortable truths. The Stoics believe that personal growth is an ongoing process, one that requires constant reflection, discipline, and self-examination. Weakness arises when we resist discomfort or avoid confronting our flaws. To overcome this, Stoicism teaches us to embrace discomfort, view challenges as opportunities to practice virtue, as Epictetus said. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When we stop chasing fleeting pleasures and instead focus on inner strength, we free ourselves to pursue the highest form of personal development. 8. Weakness erodes your relationships. Finally, weakness can erode your relationships. Relationships require strength, emotional intelligence, integrity, and the ability to set boundaries and communicate effectively. A weak person may fall into patterns of codependency, avoid confrontation, or allow toxic behavior from others to slide. This not only damages their sense of self, but also harms the relationships they care about. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of practicing virtue in our interactions. By being honest, fair, and just, we strengthen our relationships. At the same time, we learn to detach from the outcome of others' actions, focusing on maintaining our own character rather than trying to control others. Conclusion: weakness, in the Stoic sense, is not about a lack of physical strength, but about failing to govern our own minds, emotions, and actions. By practicing Stoic principles, focusing on what is within our control, cultivating self-discipline, and embracing challenges, we can overcome these forms of weakness and live a life of virtue, purpose, and resilience. The path to personal growth, emotional resilience, and fulfillment lies not in avoiding discomfort, but in confronting it with strength and wisdom. Stoicism reminds us that the only true weakness is the inability to choose how we respond to life's challenges. By cultivating inner strength, we empower ourselves to live the best version of our lives.